All right, so this will be the third video in the Indian cotton production DBQ. Hopefully, we'll get this all in 3 videos. So, bye. Maybe for the last time. Bye. See you next year. Uh, get back that. All right, so we have Mukherjee discussing the development and the fact that it's in the last few decades, after 1884, rapid decline in handwoven cloth, and the idea that it is local people that are behind it, investing large capitalists, shareholders, investors, and financiers. So this says, his opinion is that it is a domestic phenomenon. It is Indians building an Indian industry. It isn't the British imposing something. Of course, you could argue, well, where are they getting the machines from? Are the machines made in India? And the argument there is probably not, but you don't have any firm evidence of that. Okay. So where is he coming from? Who's he talking to? Well, if an Indian economist talking about the foundation of Indian economics, I would say that his audience is both upper class Indians as well as the British themselves, because I think the British would be reading this stuff too. So it would not be something that is um, meant for less educated people. And I think to some extent it might be a little bit of pride in that. He's showing pride in the development of a domestic industry. So you could argue those points. Gandhi clearly thinks that machinery in the past has meant it's dependent on England. The only way we can rid ourselves is to boycott all goods made by machinery. Gandhi himself famously spun cloth, and one of the symbols of his movement was, in fact, a spinning wheel. So Gandhi clearly does not buy this guy's argument. He is arguing that, in fact, it has made them dependent on the English. Gandhi's point of view. Well, point of view is be an easy one to do for Gandhi. Gandhi's famous proponent of first Indian autonomy and then equality and autonomy, followed by independence through nonviolent methods. Ahimsa, the same ideas that inspired Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. So you have that very clear point of view on the part of Gandhi about how to resist the English, not violently, but simply by rejecting everything they give. So you could use that point of view. That'd be a good one to use there. Also, you got to keep in mind who his audience is. He's talking to the English. Gandhi isn't writing just for Indians. Gandhi, in many ways, is manipulating English public opinion and world public opinion for that end. Gandhi was a very shrewd operator. Okay, document 4. Report of the British Royal Commission of Labor in India. So who are they reporting to? Well, that would be the British government. So it is a internal government document. And it's discussing the fact that people in the cotton mills come from these small communities, sometimes people from previous handwork, and they wind up in small rented huts with same factory and no wages and blah, blah, blah. In many ways, it's very similar to the pattern that played out 100 years earlier in Britain. So you're looking at that industrial development. So you could say that India has a parallel development to England in terms of industrialization about 100 years later. And lastly, we have this one, the spinning machine with the 3 Indian workers at it, with one of whom I would think, based upon his dress, is a supervisor, and the other 2 are factory workers. This would agree with what Mukherjee's talking about, potentially, in that you'd have, this is an entirely Indian development. There's not like some English guy watching over these gentlemen. They are all Indian. Yeah, obviously, it shows by 1935 that clearly this is a factory environment. You'd have seen factories just like this throughout the world. So it's showing this development of an industrial base, whether it's driven by the British or whether it's driven by Indians themselves. So obviously, it doesn't have a point of view. Who's this audience for? Well, it's a report on Indian textile mills, the International Federation of Master Cotton Spinners and Manufacturers Association. It's an industrial report. Oh, looks like we're going to have a 4th video, just so I can wrap everything up.